Good afternoon, young and older. Welcome to Chapter 2 of Enid Blyton's The Magic Faraway Tree. Chapter 2, Off to the Enchanted Wood. The children ate their breakfast quickly. Mother told Bessie and Fanny to cut sandwiches for themselves and to take a small chocolate cake from the larder. "You can take a packet of biscuits too," she said, "and there are apples in that dish over there. If you are hungry when you come home tonight, I will bake you some potatoes in the oven, and you can eat them in their skins with salt and butter." "Oh, Mother, we shall be hungry," said Joe at once. "Hurry up with those sandwiches, Bessie and Fanny. We want to start off as soon as possible." "Now don't be too late home or I shall worry," said Mother. "Look after your cousin, Joe." "Yes, I will," promised Joe. At last everything was ready. Joe packed the food into a leather bag and slung it over his shoulder. Then the four of them set off to the enchanted wood. It didn't take them long to get there. A narrow ditch was between the lane and the wood. "You've got to jump over the ditch, Dick," said Joe. They all jumped over. Dick stood still when he was in the wood. "What a strange noise the leaves on the trees make," he said. "It's as if they're talking to one another, telling secrets." "Wisher, wisher, wisher, wisher," whispered the trees. "They are talking secrets," said Bessie. "And do you know, Dick, if the trees have any message for us, we can hear it by pressing our left ears to the trunks of the trees. Then we really hear what they say." "Wisher, wisher, wisher, wisher," said the trees. "Come on," said Joe impatiently. "Let's go to the faraway tree." They all went on and soon came to the queer magic tree. Dick stared at it in the greatest astonishment. "Why, it's simply enormous," he said. "I've never seen such a big tree in my life. And you can't possibly see the top. Goodness gracious. What kind of tree is it? It's got oak leaves, and yet it doesn't really seem like an oak." "It's a funny tree," said Bessie. "It may grow acorns and oak leaves for a little way, and then suddenly you notice that it's growing plums. Then another day it may grow apples or pears. You just never know. But it's all very exciting." "How do you climb it?" asked Dick. "In the ordinary way?" "Well, we will today," said Joe, "because we want to show you our friends who live inside the tree. But sometimes there's a rope that is let down the tree, and we can quickly go up with the help of that. Or sometimes Moonface lets down a cushion on the end of a rope and then pulls us up one by one." He swung himself up the tree, and the others followed. After a bit, Dick gave a shout. "I say, it's most extraordinary. This tree is growing nuts now. Look!" Sure enough, it was. Dick picked some and cracked them. They were hazelnuts, ripe and sweet. Everyone had some and enjoyed them. Now, when they had all got very high up indeed, Dick was most surprised to see a little window in the trunk of the faraway tree. "Goodness, does somebody live just there?" he called to the others. "Look, there's a window here. I'm going to peep in." "You better not," shouted Joe. "The angry pixie lives there, and he hates people peeping in." But Dick felt so curious. He just had to peep in. The angry pixie was at home. He was filling his kettle with water when he looked up and saw Dick's surprised face at his window. Nothing made the pixie so angry as to see people looking at him. He rushed to the window at once and flung it open. "Peeping again!" he shouted. "It's too bad! All day and night people come peeping! Take that!" He emptied the kettle of water all over poor Dick. Then he slammed his window and drew the curtains across. Joe, Bessie and Fanny couldn't help laughing. "I told you not to peep in at the angry pixie," said Joe, wiping Dick with his hanky. "He's nearly always in a bad temper. Oh, and by the way, Dick, I must warn you about something else. There's an old woman who lives high up in the tree who is always washing. She empties the water down the tree and it comes sloshing down. You'll have to look out for that or you'll get wet." Dick looked up the tree. as if he half expected the water to come tumbling down at once. "Come on," said Bessie, "we'll come to where the owl lives soon. He's a friend of Silky's and sometimes brings us notes from her." The owl was fast asleep. He usually only woke up at night time. Dick peered in at his window and he saw the big owl asleep on the bed. He couldn't help laughing. "I am enjoying all this," he said to Fanny. "It's quite an adventure." The children climbed higher and came to a broad branch. "There's a dear little yellow door with a knocker and a bell," cried Dick in surprise, staring at the door set neatly in the trunk of the tree. "Who lives there?" "Our friend Silky," said Joe. "Ring the bell and she'll open the door." Dick rang the little bell and heard it go ting-a-ling inside. Footsteps pattered to the door. It opened and a pretty little elf looked out. Her hair hung round her face like a golden mist. "Hello, Silky," cried Joe. "We've come to see you, and we've brought our cousin Dick, who has come to live with us. He's having a lovely time exploring the Faraway tree." "How do you do, Dick?" said Silky, holding out her small hand. Dick shook hands shyly. He thought Silky was the loveliest creature he had ever seen. "I'll come with you if you're going to visit Moonface," said Silky. "I want to borrow some jam from him. I'll take some pop biscuits with me and we'll have them in Moonface's house." "Whatever are pop biscuits?" asked Dick in surprise. "Wait and see," said Joe with a grin. They all went up the tree again. Soon they heard a funny noise. "That's old Mr. What's-his-name snoring," said Joe. "Look, there he is." Sure enough, there he was, sitting in a comfortable chair, his hands folded over his big tummy and his mouth wide open. "How I'd love to pop something into his mouth," said Dick at once. "Yes, that's what everybody feels," said Joe. "Moonface and Silky once popped some acorns in, didn't you, Silky? And What's-his-name was very angry. He threw Moonface up through the hole in the cloud and landed him into the strange country there." "Where's the old saucepan man?" asked Bessie. "He's usually with his friend Mr. What's-his-name." "I expect he's gone to see Moonface," said Silky. "Come on, we'll soon be there." As they went up the tree, Silky suddenly stopped. "Listen," she said. They all listened. They heard a curious noise. Slishy, sloshy, slishy, sloshy, coming nearer and nearer. "It's Dame Washalot's dirty water coming," yelled Joe. "Get under a branch, everyone." Dick wasn't as quick as the others. They all hid under big boughs, but poor old Dick wasn't quite under his when the water came pouring down the tree. It tumbled onto his head and went down his neck. Dick was very angry. The others were sorry, but they thought it was funny too. "Next time I'll climb this tree, I'll wear a bathing dress," said Dick, trying to wipe himself dry. "Really, I think somebody ought to stop Dame Washalot pouring her water away like that. It's disgusting." "Oh, you'll soon get used to it and dodge the water easily," said Joe. On they all went up to the tree again and at last came almost to the top. There they saw a door in the trunk of the tree, and from behind the door came the sound of voices. "That's Moonface and the old saucepan man," said Joe, and he banged on the door. It flew open and Moonface looked out. His big round face beamed with smiles when he saw who his visitors were. "Hello, hello, hello," he said. "Come along in. The saucepan man is here." Everyone went into Moonface's curious round room. There was a large hole in the middle of it, which was the beginning of the slippery slip, the wonderful slide that went round and round down inside the tree right to the bottom. Moonface's furniture was arranged round the inside of the tree trunk, and it was all curved to fit the curve of the tree. His bed was curved, the chairs were curved, the sofa and the stove. It was very queer. Dick stared at it all in the greatest surprise. He really felt as if he must be in a dream. He saw somebody very queer sitting on the sofa. It was the old saucepan man. He really was a very curious sight. He was hung all around with saucepans and kettles, and he wore a saucepan for a hat. You could hardly see anything of him except his face, hands and feet, because he was so hung about with saucepans and things. He made a tremendous clatter whenever he moved. "Who's that?" he said, looking at Dick. "This is Dick," said Joe, and Dick went forward to shake hands. The saucepan man was very deaf, though he did sometimes hear quite well. But he nearly always heard everything wrong, and sometimes he was very funny. "Chick?" he said. "Well, that's a funny name for a boy." "Not Chick, but Dick!" shouted Moonface. "Stick?" said the saucepan man, shaking hands. "Good morning, Stick. I hope you are well." Dick giggled. Moonface got ready to shout again, but Silky quickly handed him her bag of pop biscuits. "Don't get cross with him," she said. "Look, let's all have some pop biscuits. They are fresh made today. And oh, Moonface, do tell us, what land is at the top of the Faraway tree today?" "The land of Topsy-Turvy," said Moonface. "But I don't advise you go there. It's most uncomfortable." "Oh, do let's," cried Dick. "Can't we just peep at it?" "We'll see," said Joe, giving him a pop biscuit. "Eat this, Dick." Pop biscuits were lovely. Dick put one in his mouth and bit it. It went pop at once, and he found his mouth full of sweet honey from the middle of the biscuit. "Delicious," he said. "I'll have another. I say, Joe, do let's take our lunch up into the land of Topsy-Turvy. Oh, do. I'll be back next time with Chapter 3, The Land of Topsy-Turvy. Until then, be good. Bye-bye.